Hi, my name is Jessica Earl Meadows, and I am a leadership coach for female visionaries who are willing to get behind themselves in service of their dream. And this is my first video blog in a 5-week series called Smart Women and it'll arrive in your inbox every Tuesday. And if you're not signed up for my email newsletter, you should sign up. It's located in the contact area of my website, and it will then arrive in your inbox every Tuesday. And before I get into the first video blog this week called Smart Women and Shame, I just want to tell you a little bit about a 12-week group coaching program that I'm starting in March called Step Into Your Sovereignty, which is a 12-week program for female visionaries to realize what they want to realize in kind of a 3-month blast of clearing any barriers to your life to realize your vision and to give you the practical tools to do it. And 8 women will be joining me for that, and I hope you're one of them. I'd love to have you. If you're interested in the program, you can click on the link below this video and read all about the group coaching program, and I'm happy to chat anytime about it. So this week, Smart Women and Shame. So why this topic first? Not an attractive topic. Smart women and shame. Shame is not an attractive word, but I've been noticing when female visionaries come to me for coaching, there is a theme around shame that's back here, right? It's not the goal we come in with, but it is one of the barriers holding us back from moving forward toward our vision, toward our goal. And the theme is basically this idea that we're supposed to be past this. And what do I mean by this? I mean the gender inequity and inequality that's kind of embedded in our society and internalized in us in our social conditioning. And the meat of the challenge for female visionaries isn't so much that social inequity or inequality exists, but it's more that it's our reaction or our attitude toward it. And what I mean is acknowledging disempowerment doesn't feel good. It's not pleasant. It's not attractive. So avoiding pain and going toward pleasure is a much more attractive option. And unfortunately, it doesn't work in this case until we undo some of our rejection of what's happening. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. In my 20s, I wanted to feel good. I wanted to feel empowered. And so I rejected those aspects of my gender or my identity that were disempowered because, like I said, didn't feel good. And what that meant was there is some discordance between my self-image and the result of what I actually was receiving in my life. So I wasn't achieving the vision I wanted to achieve or stepping into the identity I wanted to step into internally. Externally, I presented as confident and as someone who could get what they want, but internally and the facts of my life didn't reflect that. And the reason was because I was rejecting some unconscious beliefs that were really about my social conditioning that were disempowering me, like getting what you want or having things feel good in your life is selfish, because this might be a belief that men have as well, but it's a very classically female belief to be the martyr, to be the mother who sacrifices what she wants for others. And the trade-off is that she's a good person, right? She's approved of, she receives belonging and love. That unconscious belief was really running the show for me, as opposed to what I consciously wanted, which was to realize my vision. So if you're seeing yourselves in this, or you are wondering what to do about this, let's go through a 4-step process to liberate ourselves from this problem and this experience of embarrassment about having it. So the first step is really simple and obvious, which is to acknowledge that my social conditioning does affect me. And to acknowledge it, we first need to see it as truth for ourselves, right? So I'll give you some questions to kind of check in with whether or not social conditioning is affecting you later in this video blog. And also you can check out my last blog that I published last week. It was a written blog called selfless or selfish women in power. And there's a list of kind of behaviors and attitudes, beliefs, ways of being that are typical of women because of our social conditioning. And you can check and see if you see yourself in that. And then the second step to get out of this is acknowledge our reactions to resonating with our social conditioning, seeing it in ourselves. So it's unattractive. So there might be some resistance, rejection, disassociation, embarrassment, shame about reading that list or seeing, our own list in our own lives. And being able to acknowledge our emotion around that is really key. Otherwise, we're letting it run us instead of seeing it and not letting it make our decisions for us. And the third step is, once we've seen that we are affected by our social conditioning and we also have a reaction around it, is to acknowledge, yeah, this stuff does get in my way. It actually does interfere with my ability to realize my vision. So once I've accepted it, the fourth step is, this is the really empowering part, being able to parse out for myself, where in my life is the social conditioning motivating my behavior or my way of being, my decision making, and where in my life am I making my decisions from who I long to be? So the person I need to step into to realize my vision. And there's a series of questions I can give you about that. When I am in a situation not getting what I want, not being able to realize my vision, what does it have to do with who I think I should be? Am I playing a role about who I think I should be, or am I able to step into a role that's helpful to realize my vision? Am I making this something about my worth? Am I competing or trying to be good enough or pleasing when actually I might simply need to practically examine what's necessary in the situation and do it, and deal with my emotions around that as a distinct aspect of what needs to happen, which is getting over my fear of showing up and being the center of attention, or getting over my feeling not good enough. So I'm actually not, competing with my colleague about something, and actually take a more collaborative, empowered approach. And the third step is looking at the resources I assume I have access to or don't. So sometimes when we feel disempowered, we don't think we have options that we in fact could have if our sense of agency shifted. So a low sense of agency means I can't, a belief I can't access things, I can't have what I want, I don't have access to resources. And a high sense of agency is I don't have what I want, how can I get it? So I assume I am able to get it. It's simply a matter of looking for the right support, the right help, getting into the right circles. So just checking those things. Am I acting from a place of my social conditioning in these areas, or am I acting from a place of who I long to become and being the person I need to be to realize my vision? So asking, if not for the limitations imposed on me by my social conditioning, what do I actually want to do? And who do I need to become to get myself behind it and be able to do it? So I'm going to give you a couple questions, like I said I would, about your social conditioning to kind of reflect on for the week until next week's video blog. And you can write these down at home and reflect on them throughout the week. So the first one is, what do I want that I don't have? And that can be a higher income, a different career or more status in your current one, taking more leadership at work, or having more harmonious interpersonal relationships, or shifting dynamics between people. So what do I want that I don't have? And the second question is, what might my social conditioning have to do with that? And some examples that I'll give you just to prompt some reflection are things like, what were my role models of being female visionaries when I was a child? And how did they relate to power? Could they realize their visions or not? And how's that affecting me now? What barriers, what capacity do I feel I have to realize my vision? And who's in my sphere of influence socially? So are there female visionaries in my world or in my networks? How does my network regard female visionaries? And are they supportive, or is it kind of absent or not supported in the way I'd like it to be? And how can I shift my world so that I'm rooted in a context that supports female visionaries realizing their dreams, or allows us to get the resources to get there? So those are some questions for the week. And I hope you enjoyed this first video blog, and also that you'll join me next week for my second one called Smart Women and Self. And that'll arrive in your inbox on Tuesday. And if you enjoyed this video blog, I'd appreciate it if you left a comment below, either reflecting on the questions I gave you or just some feedback on the video blog. It really helps me, and it'll help inform the content I offer next week. And I'll see you next Tuesday.